it was a draw.
Yeah.
Chris.
And it's so not used to this.
I know.
May I make a request?
Yes.
I have laid out old metal swords over there. Could you take a second and just pull out the spray bottle, spray it on the rag, and then wipe them down with oil?
Yeah, you're not used to it.
That would make it a lot easier for me to keep up with maintenance. I'm trying to get better about doing that.
I can see that you're tired too.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the main reason my sword's been maintained as well as it has. Is every time I come back to practice, I'll bust it down with frogger.
Right, and so my understanding of my car, so if I don't do it before I leave here, then I would have to pull everything out of my car when I get home. Usually too tired to actually do it, and then later on it becomes a thing I forgot to do, not a so to speak, right? You know what I mean? Like, there's a point where you're like, I'm just waiting until next Saturday, but I didn't do it last Saturday, so I can see how that's going to go.
It just becomes repetitive.
Oh my.
One thing you need to find are better gloves. Because, yeah, the fact that they didn't even last round, the very first round, the very first day, did not inspire confidence.
Which ones do you have?
It's the same ones Nate has. They're like the lighter, like almost like rapier.
Yeah. Those are mixed because this is why you did a sword review, and what he said was something along the lines of, do you want to win or do you want to protect your hands? And he's like, let me explain. There is a trade-off when you're buying gloves. You must decide where your buy-in point is. That's why a lot of people have like a pair for tournament gloves and then a pair for like your training sparring gloves, because the more protection you have, the less mobility. So if you get a pair like that and you break them in a little bit and then you save them for
Hand stuff here.
like tournaments and stuff, so you're super fast, a little bit more flexible, it'll give you a combat edge because your focus is on winning, not on protecting your hands. And so he was like, a lot of people don't recommend these gloves, and he's like, my recommendation is, if you're going for a tournament, they're actually pretty good gloves. If they're your weekly sparring gloves, you always want to go heavier. And similar with, I got one more for you, sorry. So basically, yeah, he's saying the same thing with the front gloves and all that, right? Like you need to draw your line in the sand sort of for the activity that you're doing. So it's not that a one glove size glove fits all thing, despite the overly relevance of that statement.
My favorite.
But there is a trade-off.
Right, and so you have to know the trade and then choose where your trade-off line is going to be.
I'm just trying to find something that would require a reasonable amount of time.
I'm pretty tired. I mean, I would have switched by now.
Yeah, for me,
I know.
yeah, for me,
You got me cornered.
one dog, one I have an orange palm in here. They're sufficient for most training, if you're doing light training stuff,
Very light.
but they really do hurt your mobility because they're so padded.
That's okay. You won't give me one with one of these. I haven't gotten one yet.
I got some gnarly forearm damage. But I wouldn't get the forearm part,
That's it. Keep going with that snipe.
Here's the
Be a William.
Do you think that sword
so
polish
practice on
is
making
just
it
done?
yeah.
And
He's always trying to snipe me.
I have my thoughts, but I'm curious if you.
No, he does.
I'm gonna say in general, no.
That was kind of my impression.
Yeah. Did they look great when we got them? Did they stay cleaner a little bit?
Definitely not broken in the front.
Yes, but I think ultimately the cost of that
The right one on these is definitely more. I can tell.
per sword ends up being high enough that, like, I bought the materials and then if I do it myself, it's free. The only other side of that that makes it worth consideration is,
I haven't even used it yet.
like, I'm kind of behind on cleaning the sword now, and you're looking them over and you can tell that I'm having a hard time keeping up. There's just so many of them, and I have only so much time, willpower, and but I appreciate Mo giving me Montante, but I spent a lot of work on that to get to where it currently is. And as a result, all the other swords suffer a little. And I was like, this is enough weapons that it's
Keep doing
difficult without proper storage for one thing to keep up with them. If I had an indoor storage like with a
legs and
cotton
shoulders.
blanket or
The
something,
important things are
then I could fold over them because cotton absorbs a lot of moisture.
Yeah, you got my inner
But
arm.
like even just like a flat chest or something, and I just stack the swords in there, put cotton on the bottom, and then put cotton on the top, and close the case. They will rust smoother than but I just don't have hair or putback or anything like that.
Wow, again.
Also, my cleaning them is irregular because
That's how long they
they're
take.
all in my car, and I
I
have
would
to
have
go
stopped
through
by
the
now,
trouble
but
of
they
getting
keep
them
going,
all,
so.
bringing them all upstairs. You know,
That's true.
cleaning what I can, and then taking them all back down in the middle of the week. I'm gone most of the day on Saturday.
Rest this here
So,
on my head.
as you will, you can guess, being that you're on a similar path, my wife's like, if Saturday is your day, then Sunday's my day. Like, that's only fair. As a responsible husband, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
Can't argue with that. Very logical.
Right, so,
I think I got both.
I mean, I could say no. My wife does recognize me as the head of the household, despite what some people may think. In modern times, apparently that's weird. That you actually, like, the man's in charge. But as weird as that may be, my wife likes it that way, and I like it that way.
Yep, sorry.
There are times where she's like,
That was the
you
other
actually said no?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I also gave you a legitimate reason. Do you have
That was a light one.
a
too.
counter discussion
That was
point to
fingertips.
my reason of no? She's like,
No,
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 I don't. I just
I was just saying,
didn't
I'm glad
expect
it
you to
didn't
actually
light.
say no. I was like, well, doesn't make sense. I let you know. You wanna? I'm sorry. Oh, it's easier without this. know how you feel about things, but I'm from a Southern Baptist background, so I grew up in quite a religious childhood. And one of the things that they talked about in my years of church and all, they actually give a lot of marriage advice to people. And I think it's in general sound advice, whether you go to church or not. And they're like, it's the man's job to be in charge. It's also the job of one in charge to look out at everyone else before themselves. So if you're getting a reasonable request or statement from your wife, you should honor it unless there's some reason. So by default, you're in charge, but the answer should be roughly yes. The no is because if you see a legitimate reason it should be no, you should be able to say that and it actually means something. And so I was like, yeah, I like that thought process. The answer should be yes, unless I can think of a legitimate reason it should be no, and then even then it's better usually to address it of, okay, so this is my thought on this. I see this and this and this. How are you going to fix these things? Because you want me to do this. You want to do this thing, and I don't know if it's a good idea, and it could cause these problems. Are you going to mitigate these problems, or are you just going to say, stick it to the family, right? Like I said, that doesn't feel like a very nice return thing. So. In reply, my usually like okay, all right, I won't do it. So I don't often just say no. I usually just give her the reasons why I think it's a bad idea, and she's like, okay, never mind.
Now we got one side sword out.
Yeah, we'll just have to kind of check it in later. I wish I could say I had a perfect system of putting it in and away all the time, but what I found is like this, because we're packing up with people getting ready to still fighting and all that, I have to adjust it slightly over here. Just walk out of the way to get in our way. Yeah, I think everybody's like, you got a question?
Now that they're actually packed up.
That was fun.
Yes. Unless you want to keep one.